So you've got a query with an aggregate function. You want to filter on the values from this aggregate function. But you run this query and you get an error. How can you do this? In this video, you'll learn why this error happens and how you can filter your results on the value of an aggregate function. This SQL query will show us the movie crew roles and the number of roles they have had in movies. I'm demonstrating this in dbeaver on Postgres, but the concepts are the same in other SQL vendors. We can run this query and see the results. We can see the departments, roles, and the number of movies they have been in. Let's say we want to see only those roles in the camera department. We'll try adding a where clause to filter on the department name. We could do this with the department ID, but just for the purpose of this demo, we'll filter on the name. We can run this and see the result. We can see a few jobs here, all within the camera department and the number of roles. So far so good. Now let's say we only want to see jobs that have had roles in more than 100 movies. Let's add another where clause for that, to filter where count is greater than 100. If we run this, we'll get an error. It says aggregate functions are not allowed in where. This is the error we get in Postgres, but you'll get similar errors in other database vendors. What does this mean, and why does the error happen? When the database processes an SQL statement, it runs the different clauses or parts of a query in a certain order. This is called the SQL order of execution. The first part that is run is the from clause, to get data from the tables. Then the where clause is run to filter data. Next, the group by clause is run, which aggregates this data. Then the select clause is run to decide what columns to show, and then the order by clause is run to order the results. This is relevant because our query has performed the group by to get the result of the count function, and then we are trying to use a where clause. The database runs the where clause before the group by clause, so when the where clause runs, there is no count or grouping to filter on, which causes an error. In short, we can't filter on columns from a group by with a where clause. So what can we do? There's a keyword in SQL we can use for this specific task. Yes, a keyword that can be used to filter results after they have been grouped. It's the having keyword. It works very much like the where keyword. We specify a criteria for the row to meet, and if the row meets it, it is shown. The difference is that it runs after the group by clause, so it can be run on grouped data. Let's update our query to use having. We'll change just this part that filters on the aggregate function of count. We'll change this criteria to use having instead of being inside the where clause. Then we move it to after the group by. This is all we need to do. We are now filtering the data using the having clause to only show records that have a count of more than 100. We can run this query and see that it works. We don't see an error. We see the results and all rows have a count of more than 100. It also still filters by the where clause we have, which is on the department name of camera. So we can use having by itself, or use having with a where clause. It's not one or the other. Having is useful when working with grouped data with the group by clause. This group by keyword is pretty useful, so watch this video next to find out more about this keyword and how to use it to transform your results. Thanks for watching.